Hey everybody, Coach Michael here. Hope you're all doing really well. Glad to be back for another open class. Got a few emails to go through, and if you're on and you want to ask a question, feel free to submit a comment, and I will try to get to those between the emails. So, okay, let's just jump into the first message, and that first message is from Jake. So this is just a quick reply here, Jake. I got your message here. Hi. Now I know I haven't got SFI. I have a better idea of what I think is going on when I sleep. I found a forum where many people are describing having very vivid dreams and waking up completely exhausted despite having no problems getting to sleep. This is the problem I've had on and off for the last month. I believe this could be considered a REM sleep disorder, where some of the deeper periods of sleep are replaced by REM sleep. Many people in the forum say olanzapine proves effective in getting deep sleep. Have you heard of this? And if so, what should my next steps be? Yes, I've heard of olanzapine. It's a newer class of mood medication for mood disorders and such. But Jake, we don't offer any medical advice here. So sounds like you're falling asleep pretty easily, not struggling to get back to sleep, but you're feeling tired. And that's just a big message I'd like to just pass on, is that if anyone feels like they are, feel like they're getting enough sleep, enough time, they feel like falling asleep is not a problem. Getting back to sleep is not a problem. They're not anxious about their sleep. They just always feel tired and exhausted. Ask your doctor. Please follow through with your doctor. There's really an infinite number of things it could be with those types of symptoms. And we don't offer medical advice here. So, but thanks for your email, Jake. And a second email here is from Matt. Okay, so this is a message that Daniel answered late last week, I think it was. And we chatted about it a little bit, and he was hoping I would reply to it as well. So Matt, your comment here on, I think it was on one of the YouTube videos, said, yeah, I'm really starting to realize trouble sleeping isn't like flipping a switch. It takes time to undo thoughts. Honestly, it feels more like becoming more and more comfortable with the fear of sleeplessness until it finally fades away. And when those sleepless nights do come, they no longer spiral into an ongoing problem. That really is just amazing insight. You have really tapped into something there that is so necessary for moving past insomnia, being comfortable with wakefulness at night. Oops, let me come back to my screen here if I can. There we go. Being comfortable with wakefulness at night, not trying to dismiss it, not trying to mask it, not trying to really even preventing it in a sense, but acknowledging it and just, when you acknowledge it, what you're really doing is you're saying, I understand that this thing called insomnia is not pleasant. It's not fun. It is not something anyone wants to do. No one wants to have insomnia. But when you can get to the point where you can feel like being awake isn't a big problem, when you get to that point, then you're awake less. It starts to happen like that. It's very paradoxical. It's, and I still, to this day, I just think it's amazing when people come to that realization and then they start to experience befriending wakefulness at night, and then seeing how their insomnia starts to kind of dissipate, really. And I think it really boils down to a couple of things: courage and hope. So courage, absolutely. You're kind of, you're taking a leap, right? You're saying, okay, I understand it. I'm worried about not sleeping. I'm worried about how I'm going to feel the next day. I'm worried, how it's going to affect my health or whatever it is. And then when you can get to the point where you feel like I'm not, it doesn't matter, right? It doesn't matter. I'm not going to allow myself to be hyper focused on that. And it takes courage. It really does. And hope. And that's what we try to offer here at the school and on this channel is hope, because there really is a lot of hope for everyone who's is struggling with their sleep. I've been around this field a long time, and I've seen a lot of people that, they really, really improve, and there's no exact route. There's no exact time frame. It just takes a change in thinking. And so it takes courage and it takes hope. And that's, we're hoping to offer hope here on the channel. So thanks, Matt, for a great comment. And I was so glad Daniel let me know about it so I could have a chance to comment on it. And great job. Well done. There is no magic switch, right? So that's the way it works. It takes a change in thinking. Okay, let's see. Oh, Matt is on here. Okay, Matt. Hi, Michael. I'm glad you like my insight. I'm trying to get to that point myself, but I actually also asked a question in the school last week on Friday. Oh, I missed that one. Okay, let's see what you got. Essentially, I used to sleep from roughly 3 to 9 due to onset insomnia. Okay, trouble initially falling asleep. But lately, I've been falling asleep at 12 and waking up around 4, 5, etc. It's a bit frustrating because I don't need to be up. Okay. Let's see. I think I see another one here. Here we are. I don't need to be up before 9. Okay, sorry. I also feel like I'm missing out a lot of my night. I'm wondering if I should move my bedtime back. I find waking up in the middle of the night really upsetting. Okay, really problematic. Yeah, or upsetting, I guess it was. Yeah. Okay. Thanks, Matt. Sorry I missed your question, but I was definitely super glad that you posted here. So I think that, when it comes to sleep, I'm just such a big proponent of, yeah, typo, no problem. I'm such a big proponent of just like, I call it sometimes the fuzzy bedtime. I call it not being focused at all on the evening side of things, the start of the night. It happens when it happens. And it's, and it's really best not even to know when it happens. You just kind of, assess yourself. You feel sleepy, bed. You feel like you're struggling, you're alert, you're getting anxious, any of that, at least sit up, leave the bed if you want to, but you're not in that position of trying to sleep. So you can't really, going to bed earlier, if falling asleep is challenging, going to bed earlier I don't think that really is helpful. I don't think I would really suggest that to someone. There's only like 2 things you can really do with your sleep. If you think about it, you can get up earlier or you can stay up later. You can't make yourself fall asleep earlier and you can't make yourself sleep in later. So of those 4 possibilities, you can really only do 2. You can get up earlier or stay up later. So I like the idea of just finding a morning time and sticking with it. That's your anchor. And then you allow yourself to get sleepy without knowing the time, I think is a helpful thing. And, then you're kind of just, when you feel sleepy, sleeping position. And then if you're not sleepy at any time, you're out of the sleeping position. And that's really kind of it. So I don't like the focusing on the clock stuff. I don't think that's really helpful for most people who are struggling. So I would really encourage you, if possible, to not even you might try not checking the time even before you go to bed. Like a little, it's getting a little bit later and you're like, okay, I'll probably go to bed at some point soon. Maybe stop checking the time then. I'm a proponent of it. I know it can turn into a sleep effort for some people, but it's to me, it's still something that is usually helpful. And I'll just leave it at that. Matt, let me know if I answered your question. Sorry, I missed the original question. But if there's anything else in there, let's see. I'll look quick here. I think for me right now, it's like I don't start work until 10. I'm working from home, but for some reason I'm so tired around 12 a.m. now. But when I wake up around 4 or 5, I'm upset when I wake up. So you might try not knowing what time it is when you wake up and setting an alarm maybe for, like 6 or something. And so that's the end of your night. Like you set your alarm to end your night. It might wake you up, but you might be awake already. It doesn't matter. You might be in bed, out of bed. It doesn't matter. None of that matters. All that matters is that you kind of set a bit of a hard stop to the night. But then on the other side of the night, it's completely different. It's completely different. I like the idea of not checking the time even before you go to bed. Then you just listen to yourself. You kind of just going through the night very methodically. You know, if you're awake, you're doing something you enjoy. And that's all you got to, that's all there is, you know. If you're having negative thoughts at night, you know, maybe acknowledge them a little bit at night, but then save most of that for the daytime, maybe with a thought download. You might be thinking a little more clearly. Let's see. You're having you wake up because it's dark, you know, I immediately know I haven't slept through anywhere near my wake up. Okay, so then you have a choice how you're going to react. Okay, so you become awake, ideally not knowing what time it is. You just know it's dark and you're awake. That's all that you know. And your alarm hasn't gone off. You know three things. It's dark, you're awake or alert, I like to say, and your alarm hasn't go off. So what can you do? You do something you enjoy. You know, you get involved in something, just, you know, simple, watch a show or read a little or listen to something or whatever it is you like to do. But you're in the process of, you know, you teach your brain that it's okay. I can, you know, wakefulness at night is not a problem. It's not a threat. I don't, you know, don't need to get into that fight or flight thing. You just, to the best of your ability, enjoy the time. And then when your alarm goes off, you start your day. And it keeps it really simple when you kind of follow like that. So hopefully that was some helpful thoughts in there, Matt. And thank you so much for jumping on. I appreciate it. And if I have time, if you have another message here, I'll see if I can get to it. But definitely want to try to get to all of them. A quick message here from Jake, who wrote the email about the REM disorder and lazapine. Appreciate the response. Seemed to have cleared up recently. Anyways, keep up the good work. Okay, great. Thanks, Jake. Appreciate it. Didn't mean to dodge you with the question there, but medical stuff, we just don't offer medical advice here, and that was a little bit on the medical side. But the big picture is anyone who is feeling tired and, you know, they feel like they're getting enough sleep, they're falling asleep easily, they don't have insomnia, they just are feeling tired, let your doctor know about that, because there's really a different things it could be. Okay, so let's see. Let's get on with our next email here. And Sarah, as a chronic insomniac, am keen to start a course, but my disability means can't limit bedtimes. Is this going to be a problem? Okay. All right, Sarah. First of all, try to refer to yourself as someone who's at the moment struggling with their sleep instead of an insomniac. You know, that kind of that suffix kind of implies like it's a disease or something, and insomnia is not. And so, you know, you may be struggling with your sleep right now, and that's all. That's as descriptive as you need to get, right? You're just struggling with your sleep. Okay. So you asked about bedtime. And whether that in like limiting time in bed, I think you're probably talking about the sleep window, which is a very traditional CBTI procedure where you set a window of time that is supposed to be about what you have been sleeping, not less than, say, 5 hours. So for most people, it's like around 6 hours, something like that. They set the window and they go to bed at the start of the window or a little bit later if they're not sleepy yet, and then they get up at the end of the window. And in theory, makes a lot of sense because you're restricting your time in bed. You know, the reality is that it can make people anxious. All right, the sleep window can cause a lot of anxiety in itself because it really, I mean, the theory I get, it's like driving up your natural sleepiness and giving you less opportunity to be awake in bed. Okay, well, given that, but it's still, for a lot of people, it causes a lot of anxiety to have that much structure and that rigid of a time in bed. So for you, Sarah, it's not a problem at all. You know, you don't want to be anxious at night, first and foremost. So if you need to stay in bed when you're awake at night, that's no problem at all. Sit up in bed. If you can sit up, I don't know what your disability is, but if you can sit up, that's helpful. If you need to stay lying down, then that's what you need to do. But if you can sit up in bed, turn on a lamp and do something you like right there. That is not a problem at all. There's the other part of CBTI is the stimulus control side, which is try to associate your bed with sleep. And it's really kind of, that's a little simplistic on what really goes on. Really, you don't want to associate, the night with ongoing struggle to sleep. So that's where, when you recognize you're not sleepy during the night, you should do something else, right? If you're awake and alert and you're flat and the lights off and you're trying, that's not going to work. That's a big theme with good sleep. So you sit up or you leave the bed, whichever you feel like doing, whichever is possible. And then if you feel sleepy again, you lay back down. It's kind of that simple. All right. So I hopefully, Sarah, that provided you some little guidance there. Let's check back on the messages here. Let's see what we got. Jake, that was Matt. Let's see. Tracy, what you do if you don't fall asleep at all and you have nights not sleeping? Well, you start at the beginning, and the beginning is education. That's where you just this channel has so much to offer. Go into the playlists. You can see the categories there. You can go to the school website. There's intro videos there to kind of get started, but really it's education. Read Set and Forget It. So fantastic book. Just that's where it starts, Tracy. So, a lot of people on this channel, struggle with their sleep, and they have nights of no sleep. And so we have our own kind of philosophy, our way of helping people in that situation. You can kind of let yourself know that your brain produces sleepiness automatically. So it's like you can't not get sleepy, sort of like you can't not get hungry. That's kind of a starting point, and then it's how to change the thinking, the negative thinking and anxiety associated with not sleeping. And it really starts with the education. So hopefully that helps, Tracy. Okay, let's see here. Okay, Matt. Perfect, Michael. Thanks. You got it. Just a lot of learning now, having moved on from onset to more of a maintenance issue. Okay. It's either, falling asleep or falling back to sleep. That's kind of the classic two experiences. It doesn't really matter. It's not like a different approach for, different types. And, if there's a bit of struggle, then it's thought work, right? It's just going to be thought work, and you're doing a great job, Matt. And then one more from Matt. Didn't have to worry about middle of the night wake ups when I was falling asleep at 4 because of onset insomnia. But now that I can actually sleep at a more reasonable hour, it's more maintenance, a new ball game. Okay. Yeah. But it's still the same education and everything that we talk about here. It's still the same. Nothing's different. So, keep in mind that, this broad message, adults don't sleep 8 hours on average. They sleep more like 6.5-ish, right in there. When they've done big studies and looked at people around the world, that's what they find. So make sure you don't have like a goal, like you're trying to get, 7.5, or you're trying to get 8 or something like that. That goal setting like that is a classic way to have trouble sleeping. So that's just a thought right there. So thanks for writing that. Great. Thank you so much for your comments. I appreciate it. And let's see what else we've got. We've got, let's see here, and here we go. Oop. Go here. Okay, there we go. Let's get, there we go. Okay, figured it out. I'm the older of the two between Daniel and I, as you probably can guess. All right, let's jump into the emails one more time. I think there is one more from Shari. Here we go. Shari, dear Coach Daniel and Michael, I messaged you a few weeks ago, and I'm happy to report that I have passed my 1-month anniversary of practicing your principles, and I am still sleeping. I was all set to send you this message earlier this week, and then life got busy, and then I had a night where I did not sleep as much. The first night I shrugged it off and didn't think much about it. One of Coach Michael's episodes talked about the fact that you don't eat the same meal every day, so why would you think that you will have the same quality of sleep every night? Yeah, I like to say that, or I usually kind of phrase it more like the calorie count, like you don't eat the same number of calories every day. So, why would you expect to sleep the same amount of time every night? And, that kind of idea. Um, okay. I was eating my favorite Chick-fil-A sandwiches. I was listening to that episode, so the analogy really stuck. That's great. But then I had a second night where I did not sleep well and woke up early. I laid there for a while and decided to get up, not knowing what time it was. The kitchen clock's at 4:45. I felt my anxiety begin to creep. All day I thought, but what if it starts all over again? But I had read Set It and Forget It, and in the book, it prepares you for those nights of interrupted sleep. They will come. And so I knew that I didn't need to do anything different as far as sleeping, but I was stuck mentally in this loop. So I turned into one of your podcasts and it was exactly what I needed. I allowed myself to think, what if I wake up again at 4:45 tomorrow morning? I sat with a thought and then walked myself backwards through the night. 3:32, 2:27, 1:15. I just sat with the thoughts and realized that I'd get up, read, and hang out. I laid out a plan and gave my brain the reassurance that I was listening. Of course, I slept like a baby that night and the next night. Thank you both from the bottom of my heart and recommend you all often. Shari, thank you, Shari. That is fantastic. I'm glad you are doing really well and you're really finding a great path and a great way of reacting to a night of poor sleep. Saw some time references in there. I'm kind of a big one with that. I like to just kind of remove the time thing. That's just one of my favorites. But you're changing your thinking, your thought process really comes through, and it's really great that you recognize that it's going to happen. You're going to have a rough night of sleep. It's going to happen. Everyone, has them occasionally, and so the key then is like, how are you going to react to it? And having a plan. I noticed that was great in your email. And so I did a little thinking about that and I came up with something. I want to share it with you. Drum roll. Here we are. Have a nap, which I call a night alertness plan. So if you have a plan for what you can do, if you become awake, you have one of those nights where sleep is really elusive, you have a plan, and it sounds like you have a plan. And I thought, that's wonderful. And then I thought, I got to come up with an acronym here. So I came up with Night Alertness Plan. Kind of silly, sorry. But, it's easy to remember. It's a nap, right? So you have a plan. That's such a great thing, to just have it set so that if it happens, you just know what to do. You go right into that plan that you've laid out ahead of time. So it doesn't have to be super involved. Just kind of you got a simple plan that you just sort of like a go bag, right? For your sleep. It's like, okay, it's one of those nights. So here's what I'm going to do. And you don't just get out of bed and pace the hallways and stare off into the distance and worry and fret and ruminate, but instead you do something you enjoy, right? Do something you enjoy. Really spend the time. It can be a great, creative, peaceful time at night if you let it. And so I like the idea of a plan. I think that's wonderful. Thank you very much, Shari, for all your support of us and the channel. Really appreciate that. Thanks for spreading the word. That's what we're trying to do here. Spread the word. Let me see. We've got maybe a couple more comments, or did I miss? Let me see if I missed anything here. Matt, just finishing up. Yeah, to be honest, I'm sleeping enough. It's really just an issue not being upset about being awake in the early morning when I prefer wake up closer to work. Yes. Just working on acceptance. Wonderful. Yeah, you'll get there. Matt, you'll be fine. Just be careful about having some sort of sleep time goal, and all that. Just try to be like the set it and forget it kind of attitude, the sleep like a robot. There's all these phrases, that kind of have a similar connotation, similar meanings, and, just not trying to force anything at night. It's just best to just go through the night in a way where you are awake, you're doing something you like, you're feeling sleepy, you're in the sleeping position, and let your mind go somewhere, drift off, and enjoy it. And that's really kind of the thing, right? That's kind of it. So there you go, Matt. Thanks again for your time, Michael. You got it very much. Hey, anytime. Sorry I missed last week. I was going to do a Wednesday insight. And then I got crazy busy last week, and everything just kind of all my time just evaporated. So, and then Daniel had some great episodes last week with interviews. Really great stuff there. So check it out if you haven't seen that. And okay, I think that is about it. Thank you so much, everyone, for your questions. And thank you for both the email questions and the live questions. And if you have anything else, here we are, thesleepcoachschool.com. That's the website. And you can submit questions there. So thank you, everybody. Have a great rest of your day, and I will see you later on. Bye-bye.